Okay, that was an awful noise for my knee to make. Hello, everyone. Today, we have a sequel to a game we played last year. I believe this is a trilogy. First one was called Kansei. I'm probably butchering that. The subtitles are certainly butchering it. This one is Kansei. I believe the third one is Yusei, but I don't know when that one will be coming out. So Kansei was out July last year. I think I played it beginning of August. This one came out on the 14th of January. Developed by Sake Visual. Published by Ratalaika Games, and thank you very much to the publisher, as always, for giving me a code for streaming purposes. Not thank you as always, but thank you as always, but the publisher doesn't always give me a code. As in, I'm always wanting to thank when the publisher gives me a code. Bot has not woken up yet. I know what I mean anyway. So yeah, so this came out on the 14th. It is a visual novel. It is voiced, but from what I remember with Kansei, the narrator is not voiced, so I get to narrate, and the characters get voiced, which gives me a little bit of a break. So that's cool. Sorry, I just, as you can tell with the wet hair, I just washed my hair, and it is currently, I got water in my hair, basically. Got water in my hair. So a teenager with the ability to relive the death of any corpse he touches finds himself tangled in another murder case when the owner of a high-profile corporation dies under mysterious circumstances. This time, however, he's forced to team up with a group of kids with abilities as strange as his own. Unfortunately, these new teammates might be more dangerous than the killer they're hunting. Everyone has something to hide, and the past never stays hidden for long. Interrogate subjects, explore the house of the wealthy deceased, and unearth the secrets of others while you try and keep your own hidden. So yeah, I believe the first one, there was a murder in a coffee shop, and we got some communications from someone who was telling us things, and possibly that turned out to be like the secret organization. So yeah, all of the achievements are missable. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the usual and do our best. And try and figure out who the killer is. I think there are multiple endings by the looks of the achievements. Like multiple endings, as well as a whole bunch of choices. So we will get at least one ending. Hopefully it is a satisfactory ending. And see where we go from there. Ow. And of course we forgot to put cream on our hands because, you know, that would have been sensible. So if we do take a quick break in the middle, then I will probably go and bandage up my hands. Also watching my friend Sammy make pretzels, which is interesting. It's all interesting to watch something without sound as well. So yeah, so we have story time. And then Tuesday's stream is going to be an extra special story time because it will be a Joe and Jesse story time. Which should be fun. And let's grab Stag's hair. Sorry, just catching up on random stuff very quickly so that the little bloopy things don't annoy me during the stream. Okay, so yeah, this one has 2 weeks ago it came out. It is £7.99, which is equivalent to $7.99 and €7.99 always. Sadly, I don't think the lowest. It has the lowest price. So it was 20% off at release. Because I'm slightly later. Usually I do these at release. Slightly later. With this, starting this, don't have the current discount going on, but I'm sure it'll be on a sale at some point if people mind about that. It says 0 to 1 hour completion. Oh, hello. However, that is if you skip through everything, which we are not going to. So we don't want to skip. Oh no, we don't want to do that. Okay, we don't want to skip anything at this point. Turn up the text speed, auto forward English, music down a little bit, sounds on a little bit, voice off. We are. See, this is weird. It's like. So it's not mute all. Okay, right. You can also toggle on voices. We will not do that. So, let's start. So, wherever we don't know who it is, I will read. This thing is impossible!
A tangram isn't that hard. You're just not thinking about it right.
I think I get to voice Kansei. Let me blanky. Oh yeah, so how exactly am I supposed to think about it?
You need to be more flexible. You should be open to the idea that what looks like one thing might just be a small part of something completely different.
Yeah, tangrams are interesting. I always get the triangles the wrong way around. I make assumptions.
The outside shape doesn't always give you a good idea of what's inside.
You mean how my tiny little sister is such a huge genius?
Just like that.
What on earth invented this thing anyway? It's such a weird puzzle.
Well, I think that according to legend, the tangram happened when someone dropped a square tile and it broke into 7 pieces. When he tried to put them back together, he discovered that he could shape it into many different things.
So basically, we're having fun at the expense of some poor guy who broke his tile.
Well, if it weren't for that, wouldn't the tile just be a boring tile like all the other tiles? But because of what happened, it's now a famous puzzle that's been seen across the world.
We have a notebook. We also have a cursor. So, you know, as we have a cursor, I'm like, can this be a point and click?
Sometimes, in order to find a greater purpose, you have to be broken first.
Oh, that sounds broken, huh? I think I'm happier just being a boring old tile that no one will ever notice. Except that you can touch someone and touch a dead body and find out how they died. So.
I don't think we get the luxury of choosing what happens to us.
But that is the point, is free will. You get to choose. You don't think we get to decide our future?
I never said that. We don't get to decide what happens to us, but we can always decide how to respond to it.
You know, you sure think about a lot of deep stuff for a 14-year-old.
That's a stereotype, and you know it.
What, I'm not allowed to tease you? Besides, I'm sure you'll start thinking about a boy one day, and when that day comes, you better make sure he gets my approval first. Well, that's very heterosexual of you. don't want to lose my sister to some punk kid who's no good.
Stop choking. I told you, I'm not interested in that sort of thing. Don't worry, you're not going to lose me anytime soon.
Oh, that sounds like she's going to die. Ugh, where am I? I open my eyes slowly and take in my surroundings. Coffee table, books, computer. It's like a pretty average apartment. Something feels off though.
Good morning.
Oh right. It's not an apartment, it's a prison. All thanks to me sticking my nose into a murder yesterday. That'd be the coffee shop.
I hope you slept well.
Why do you care? Neki sits beside me on the
You're
couch.
our guest, after all.
Except that part where I don't want to be here.
Well, there's not much I can do about that. You have to admit it's a lot nicer than police custody, though.
We didn't kill anyone. Don't see why Detective Gursky thought it was necessary to detain me anyway. I already solved the murder yesterday. The murderer even confessed.
Confessions can be recanted. It's best to have the most solid case possible in situations like this.
What about Naoki? He was there. Why not use him?
I'm sure they'll use my brother too, but the fact remains that you're the one who solved the case. That makes you the strongest witness they have.
I roll my eyes. Whatever. There's plenty of painfully obvious evidence at the scene already. You hardly need me.
You'd be surprised what expensive lawyers are capable of doing. We need the most airtight case possible. Miko might seem like a relaxed guy, but he's thorough.
Nico? You mean Detective Gursky?
Yeah, Miko Gursky.
You seem awfully familiar with him.
You think so?
Her expression breaks into a wide grin. I can only assume there's a story here that she's not telling me.
Anyway, you should thank me for convincing him to let you stay with us. With us, you get a nice bed, good food, and...
Aki, I got the coffee!
Naoki opens the door to the apartment, triumphantly holding up a cup of coffee.
Coffee.
Naoki stumbles as he entered, grasping at the air in an attempt to catch himself. A young girl with pale skin and white hair appears from the hallway and reaches out, calmly lifting the coffee cup from his outstretched hand as he falls forward. She steps to the side as Naoki goes crashing to the ground. The girl gazes placidly at Naoki lying on the floor.
Be careful.
Oh.
Ooh, nice save.
The young girl nods and hands the cup of coffee to me before disappearing back into the hallway. Who was that?
That's Lee May.
I saw her yesterday, but she just kind of nodded at me and walked off. Naoki stands and rubs his head ruefully.
That's Lee May for you.
She's a quiet child. Quiet child. Quiet? Anyway, there's too much going on in her head, so it's a little hard on her to maintain conversations.
I hear that. Ooh.
Anyway, there's too much going on in her head, so it's a little hard on her to maintain conversations.
What's she, like a genius kid or something? Hi, Alkesh! Naoki and Aki exchange glances. What did I say?
Not exactly. It's a little more complicated than that.
How are you doing, Alkesh?
Why don't we talk about it on the way there?
There? Where are we going?
To speak with our client, of course.
It doesn't take long for us to leave Edgewater. I am okay, I guess. Whoops, just dropped my controller. You know, it's Sunday. I have dinner already prepared, so, you know, bonus. I'm streaming a cool game, hanging out with you lot. So, you know, could be worse. I gaze sleepily out of the car window and struggle to sit up straight in my seat. It's still early morning and the city is only faintly outlined against the pale sky. Take a few sips of my coffee before dozing off completely. What? The cityscape outside the car is transformed into a country scene. What happens when you fall asleep? I vaguely remember passing the big city, but I'm pretty sure I fell asleep after that. Typical. I gaze at the rolling countryside as it passes by. All I see are clusters of trees with telephone poles dotting the side of the road. Aki's driving is surprisingly sedated considering her personality. I expected a lot more road rage. She seems pretty content to chug along slightly below the speed limit, even though the road is perfectly straight and no other cars are in sight. You would not be content to do that. I feel like we're creeping along at an incredibly slow pace. I guess this is why we had to leave early. At least I get to sit in the front. Glancing at the back seat, I see Naoki dozing, his head resting on his chest. Lima is awake, but she's staring blankly out the window.
Glad you're awake. Did you enjoy your sleep? Glad you're awake. Did you enjoy your sleep?
No, not particularly. The seat feels lumpy, and now my neck hurts. Yeah, my neck was hurting earlier. Seems to have sort of resolved itself. Aki laughs and shakes her head.
At least you're honest.
Hi,
Should we
Aki.
have gotten you something stronger than a triple shot?
It's not your fault. It'll kick in soon enough. Look out the window again, trying to focus on the scenery. Looks like we're far away from the city by now. Any reason we had to leave so early?
We have a long way to go to meet with our client, and he's the sort of guy who will get very fussy if we're late.
Where are we going anyway? What are we supposed to be doing? Who's the client you're talking about? Wait, you said you were going to tell me about Lee May, didn't you?
You're overflowing with questions. I suppose I
How you
can't
doing,
blame
Nikki?
you. You're not the only one with questions, though. In fact, you're a pretty big question mark yourself. Let's make a deal, shall we? You ask a question, then I ask a question. We'll trade answers.
I guess that works. Who are you people, anyway? You work for high-profile corporations like Auton Engineering. The police seem to trust you almost unconditionally. You just look like a bunch of kids. Aki bursts out laughing.
You're a kid too, aren't you?
Yeah, well...
We're a special investigation agency. Our work isn't always as exciting as corporate espionage and murder. More often than not, we're just snapping photos of cheating lovers. As for why the police trust us, that's sort of a weird story. That's for another question, though. Okay, my turn. What's your name?
I was hoping you wouldn't ask that.
You do realize how suspicious it makes you look when you hide it, right?
It's complicated.
Things are only as complicated as you want them to be, but I respect your privacy.
The girl who can insert thoughts into my head whenever she wants respects my privacy. Ironic.
We're going to have to call you something, though. Is Kansei okay?
Why don't we have a name? Kansei. I thought our name was Jose, but hey, you know.
Roughly translated, it means strong emotions. It's sort of a play on Kansei.
Is that supposed to mean something to
We
me?
call the ability to feel other people's emotions Kansei. It's like a super sensitivity.
No, empath. Okay.
Since you have a type of Kansei, we can call you Kansei. Kan-gai. Get it?
Yeah, but it's stupid.
I never claimed to be good at picking names.
Try to think of something else, please.
I'll see what I can do.
I lean back in my seat and adjust myself, trying to get comfortable. Is there any reason your car is so tiny?
Is that your next question?
No, I'm just saying there's not much space in here.
Lee May never complained about it.
Yeah, but Lily is tiny. Yeah, what's the deal with her anyway?
Now that's definitely a new question.
Right. We asked that. Well, so what's the deal with Lima anyway?
All of us have a sort of Kansei like you do. We can all sense thoughts and feelings to some extent.
And?
Lee May's Kansei is probably the purest form of them all. She experiences the emotions of everyone around her.
Pure empath. everyone.
Everyone. If you're happy, she's happy. If you're sad, she's sad. Everyone else's emotions are constantly streaming into her mind. She has to spend a lot of her energy sorting out which feelings are hers and which aren't.
I turn to look at Li Mei. Her eyes are open and her body is unmoving as she stares straight out the car window. Her mind must be a mess. I wonder if she can feel my pity for her. Can she even tell that it's me, or is it all mixed up inside of her? Oh man, should I even be feeling this way? If she can sense it, it's probably really demeaning to her that I'm feeling bad for her. I want to think that I think of her as some sort of poor little kid or something. I desperately tried to conjure up another emotion to squash my current mood, but my mind is completely blank. For a brief moment, Li Mei glances at me from the corner of her eye. She nods slowly, almost imperceptibly. I think she's trying to tell me she's okay.
Alright, next question. Where are you from, anyway?
Los Angeles.
I'd rather you don't lie about it.
What?
Miko told me about it. Yesterday you told him that you were from LA, but when he asked you about precincts, you didn't correct him. In Los Angeles, police work districts, not precincts. I'm surprised he didn't cuff you on the spot for lying to him. Actually, no, I'm not.
I turn my gaze back to the scenery outside, unsure of how to answer. Detective Grisky knew I was lying yesterday. Why didn't he let me get away with that? Did he recognize me? I don't remember him though. Recognize me? I don't know. There's some sort of story there, backstory. I don't remember if we got any of it. I seem to remember that the murder in the coffee shop was like corporate espionage or something. Something like that. I don't remember. I think our sister must have died. And maybe it was like really famous or something. So if we say our name, like everybody knows it. I don't know. They've been living in Los Angeles for the past 3 years. Isn't that good enough?
And before that?
Oops. Sorry. Something in my kitchen just shifted. Only one question at a time, remember? He raises an eyebrow.
Of course. Go ahead.
What do you have to do? To get the police to trust you.
We stopped the assassination of a visiting dignitary.
I mean, that would do it. You what?
Everyone makes a big deal about it, but it was sort of a fluke. Naoki was trailing a businessman and secretary who were putting in extra hours at an expensive hotel.
And?
He saw the assassin, thought it was suspicious, and called me in. We intercepted the assassin, saved the day, and apparently that makes us trustworthy heroes.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Forgive me if I find that hard to believe. A story like that is ridiculous.
So, you're the boy with a Kansei that allows you to experience the final moments of any dead body you touch. You should be used to the ridiculous by now.
I guess she has a point there. Still doesn't sound like a real story, though.
My turn now.
Mickey grins.
Where did you live before Los Angeles?
Somehow I knew you were going to ask me that.
Oh, am I really that predictable? Not going to answer.
Edgewater.
What?
I used to live here. In Edgewater.
Here.
Mickey sounds surprised.
3 years. I suppose that makes sense. We've only been here for 2 years.
She glances at me out the corner of her eye. Sure, she wants to ask more, but for once she doesn't press the issue.
Well, I guess that was my question. Your turn.
Where are we going?
A small estate out in the countryside. It belongs to one Mr. William Otten.
I want to say either pharmaceuticals or possibly cars. Orton, as in Orton Engineering.
Got it in one.
So he's the guy that hired you to track Sarah Blackmore because she was stealing information from him. Sarah Blackmore, I believe, was the previous deceased.
Yep. Well, until she was murdered, that is.
Yeah, there is that.
We reported to him yesterday about what happened.
You mean about how Miss Bergstrom hired Sarah to steal from him?
That, and the fact that Miss Bergstrom claimed a third party was also interested in the information. He didn't sound too happy about that, so he ordered us to come see him today and give a full report in person.
Wow, that's a little demanding.
I can't blame him. His entire company's at stake here. I hope you don't mind coming with us. Since you were there yesterday, it seems only natural to bring you along.
Yeah, I get it. Sure, the real reason she's taking me along is because she promised Detective Gursky that she'd keep an eye on. I guess I don't mind talking to this Orton guy. It's not like any plans for today anyway. It'd be interesting to see the House of a Millionaire. So, why does Mr. Orton live so far out of the way anyway? Considering that his company's in the middle of Edgewater, wouldn't it make sense not to live a gazillion miles from the place?
Who knows? Word is that he really hates the city. His assistant said that he rarely leaves his house, conducting most meetings via satellite.
Weird. His entire company is built on cutting-edge technology, but he doesn't want to live around a couple of stoplights. He shrugs.
Rich people are eccentric. Comes with a job description, I think.
Sounds more like paranoia to me.
Maybe it is.
You missed it.
Jump a little as Minnie Mouse picks up from the back seat. She's been silent for so long, I almost forgot she was there. Minnie Mouse pointing at a small road that we just passed.
Oops!
The steering wheel a tight spin and the car's tires screech as the car spins in the road.
What? Ow!
Mikey jerks awake as his head bumps into the window he's using for a headrest.
Sorry, missed a turn.
He rubs his head slowly.
Yeah, I noticed. I guess we're almost there.
Yep, just a few minutes now. Anyway, what were we talking about? Right, Mr. Otten. He's one of those self-made men you hear about all the time, built Otten Engineering himself from the ground up. But he's also ridiculously secretive. No interviews, hardly any TV appearances. His assistant, Sophia Millerson, does most of that.
The car slows to a stop as we approach Mr. Orton's house. I squint out the window to get a better look at it. It looks like a very expensive, very pretty box. Kind of small for a rich guy, though. This is it?
This is it.
It looks like someone just glued some fancy doors and windows onto a huge box.
Yeah, it kinda does. I guess since he always stays inside, he doesn't care what it looks like on the outside.
Mikey kicks open the dark car door and leaps out. Well, the front doors of the house swing open silently and a strict-looking woman approaches us.
Are you the representatives from the agency?
Yep, I'm Aki Mizutani. You must be Sophia Millerson. We spoke on the phone.
Mikey thrusts her hands out, but the woman really raises a skeptical eyebrow.
You're not exactly what I pictured.
Looking at Aki's wrinkled shirt and dusty pants, I can see why she might be a little thrown off.
Being a private investigator involves having an appearance that doesn't stand out, ma'am.
Truly.
The woman places her hands on her hips and sighs reluctantly.
Well, come in. Mr. Otten seems unusually eager to speak with you.
Mikey kicks at a car door shut. This poor car. And motions for us to follow her. How do you kick a car door open? I suppose you'd still have to, do the lock thing. I climb out and stumble around for a moment as my knees buckle underneath my weight. Ugh, my legs are cramped from sitting in that car for so long. Sophia watches me impassively. She doesn't look impressed. Mikey comes stumbling out of the car after me. We both do our best not to look like a pair of goldfish who've been dumped unceremoniously out of our bowl.
Are these your associates?
As if she was unimpressed before, she's plain worried now. Can't say I blame her.
They are.
Mikey steps to the side and Naoki and Limei approach Sophia.
This is Limei, and this is my brother Naoki.
Naoki. Limei glides up to Sophia like a swan and offers her a polite
And
bow.
he is?
Sophia points at me.
That would be...
Aki stares at me, and a hint of panic shows in her eyes. I've already made it clear that I don't intend to give my name away, but I guess that puts her in a somewhat difficult situation.
That would be... Kansei.
What? Kansei. She's really going to stick with that weird name?
Kansei? Unusual.
I turn to Aki and make a face, but Sophia doesn't notice or care. Aki shrugs apologetically.
Sorry, it's the best I could do on short notice. You should have given me something to work with.
Suddenly regretting her not telling her my name was Fred or something. I guess it's better than nothing. Ooh. As we follow Sophia into the house, I see a brief flash of red light. What's that light? Oh, we're now officially Kansei. Hi, Lady McGree.
It's a retina detector.
Sophia indicates a small camera set in the doorframe that we pass
The
through.
house takes a shot of the eyes of anyone who passes through. It's useful for identification purposes. The house can remember your preferences and adjust things like lighting and temperature as soon as you enter the room.
Okay, that's creepy. Yeah. More than a little bit creepy. But I thought Mr. Auden lived out here because he didn't like technology.
Mr. Auden lives here because he enjoys the peace and quiet being away from the city affords him.
How are you doing, Lady McGree? How's Deke? How's your head? I missed your stream on Friday. To stretch my leg out, otherwise my knee is going to protest.
This house, however, has the most cutting-edge security possible, including quite a few innovations not yet available on the market.
Fun. I'm sure the house is already looking at my dental records.
Now, please don't dawdle. Mr. Auden's other guest is already here waiting for you.
Other guests?
As we enter the house, I see the outline of a man standing at the far end of the room, inspecting a scroll on the wall.
Oh no.
Oh, great. I should have known you'd be here.
It's Detective Gursky! He's cute.
Miko, to what do we owe the pleasure?
Sorry, I'm just trying to get some tiny bit of lift in my hair. So it's not dry, weirdly sticking out. There we go. Aki doesn't bother to disguise the sarcasm in her voice.
Detective Gursky played a major role in the apprehension of the murderer yesterday. It's only natural that he'd be invited back here by Mr. Auden.
Yeah, I was actually there, unlike some people.
Detective Gursky looks pointedly at Aki, but she just gazes coolly back now. Sophia ignores the chill in the air between them and nods at us.
Please make yourselves comfortable. Mr. Auden is finishing up on a conference call. He'll see you once it's finished.
Ooh, can we explore the house?
If you wish. The house currently logs you all as guests, so any doors you are authorized to pass through will open automatically.
Aki takes her brother's hand and gives it a quick tug.
Let's go!
Okay.
He was in the coffee shop. Naki trades after her, looking unsure. Far into the room, Detective Gursky rolls his eyes. Sophia turns and heads up a narrow staircase, presumably to do something important. The room is silent now. I swallow, trying hard not to make a sound. Detective Gursky turns to inspect the fountain in the middle of the room with feigned interest. Unfortunately, he looks more annoyed than interested. Nimai stands quietly in the corner of the room, staring off at nothing in particular. Something about her that bothers me, but I can't figure out what it is. Her still body and distant gaze remind me of corpses I've seen, but even a dead body doesn't give me the uneasy feeling she does. Aki says she feels the emotions of everyone, but it looks to me as if she doesn't feel any emotions at all. Try being bombarded with shit, you'd shut down. Before I can think on it more, the front door slides open to reveal a young woman with slightly unkempt hair standing on the other side.
Oh! I'm so sorry I'm late. I got lost on the way here. Do you know how easy it is to miss that turn to get here?
Yeah. And what? The woman looks at me expectantly. I wonder if Sophia knows there's a visitor. Should I go upstairs and tell her?
You must be Liam Otten. I've heard so much about you.
Liam? I thought, like you said, that Mr. Orton's name was Roy. She smiles and holds her hand out. I give her a quick shake before stepping aside to let her in. Yeah, I'm not...
It's okay. I'm not here to talk about all those rumors. Rich people always get the worst of it, don't they?
She walks around the perimeter of the room, examining everything quickly with her eyes.
And even if they are true, you're free to do what you want with your life. No one should judge you for your choices, right?
I don't think...
Oh, right! Marissa Klein from Modern Trends. I'm here for the interview. Did your uncle not tell you about it?
She flits around the room again, stopping to inspect the bamboo that stands like a guard by the hallway.
Pretty! Is it real?
I honestly have no idea. She looks up and notices Detective Gursky for the first time.
Oh, hello.
She rushes up to him and holds out her hand.
Marissa Klein.
Yes, I heard.
Marissa nibbles on the edge of her fingernail, coiling.
Oh, good. So we can skip the formalities and just chat?
Is she flirting with him? I'm not sure I want to watch this.
I'm afraid I'm only here for business, ma'am.
She gives him a gentle push.
Oh, don't call me that. It makes me feel so old. Or are you supposed to be all formal with me because you work here?
I don't work here.
Marissa's eyes grow wide.
A guest? Even more interesting.
She points to the fountain that Gursky is looking at.
Are you an art fan?
She reaches out to touch the dragon coiled around the glass sphere.
Please refrain from touching the art.
Marissa freezes as Sophia appears at the bottom of the staircase.
Miss Klein, I presume?
Yep. Sorry,
You're 2 hours late. Mr. Otten has other business to attend to now.
Hang on! I called and said I'd be late, though.
I don't recall receiving such a call.
Marissa turns to me and grabs me by the
You
shoulders.
didn't tell her?
Tell her what?
You're the one who answered the phone when I called. Why didn't you tell her?
I just got here and I have no idea what you're talking about. Why is it everything is somehow my fault? Marissa blinks and raises her grip on me.
Wait, what's your name?
Kansei. I choke a little as I spit the name out. I sound even dumber than when Aki says it.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I thought you were Liam Otten.
Yeah, I gathered as much.
Miss Klein, you may have called ahead, but the fact remains that you are very late, and Mr. Otten has a strict schedule.
Wait, this is my first major interview. Is there any way I can squeeze it in today?
Sophia sighs.
Come with me.
Oh, thank you.
Marissa skitters up the staircase after Sophia.
Conga?
Something? Detective Gursky is eyeing me with a quizzical look on his face.
Con guy?
Yeah, what of it?
Did Aki pick that name for you?
Is that obvious?
She's notoriously bad at naming things. When she was a girl, she had a cat that was born with only a stub for a tail. She named the cat Stubtail.
Great. I guess you should be grateful I didn't get saddled with a name like Kid Who Talks to Dead People.
I'm sorry you're stuck with those kids right now. If I had my way, I wouldn't group you in with them.
What are you talking about?
They all belong to the government. You know that, right?
Okay, wait, what?
Miko, are you gossiping about me again?
He enters from the hallway and slaps Detective Gursky on the back.
I'd rather you don't feed our friend Con Guy here any misinformation.
Well, I haven't lied to him if that's what you mean.
Mr. Otten will see you now.
Sophia descends the staircase with Marissa Klein and tow. Sophia looks even more annoyed than usual. Marissa's smiling, but looks forced. Did you get your interview?
Of course. It'll be a winner, so be sure to look out for it.
It took about 30 seconds. She points a pen at me and jerks it back at the gun. Somehow I doubt her article written very much.
Hey, Sophie. You don't mind if I have a look around, interview the staff, and other nonsense, right?
It seems to be taking all of Miss Millicent's strength not to strangle Marissa.
Please make it quick.
Righto.
And Marissa salutes and heads off down the hallway.
Shall we get going?
Sophia waits patiently for us to follow her. The five of us file up the stairs and follow her down a hallway to a glass door. Sophia knocks on it twice.
Mr. Otten, the investigators you requested are here.
A small burst of static pops from a speaker on the wall as Mr. Autumn's voice emanates from the tiny box.
Good.
A camera descends from the ceiling and pans slowly across us before coming to a stop in front of me. The lens adjusts and focuses on me. Suddenly, another breath of static.
go away!
What?
Get out! Get him out!
Everyone turns to stare at me.
What did you do?
I didn't do anything! Stop blaming me for everything bad that happens! Mr. Orton's voice crackles over the speaker again.
Sophia, get rid of him!
I'll take care of it right away, sir.
Sophia turns towards
Please
me.
follow me this way, Kansei.
I didn't do anything.
Please follow me this way, Kansei.
Sophia repeats her request, but her voice sounds much more tense. Fine. I'm coming. I follow Sophia down the winding staircase.
I apologize for Mr. Otten's sudden outburst. He's prone to unnatural mood swings based on unidentified provocation.
Sounds more like she's giving a press release rather than an apology.
We can proceed with your discussion after he is less agitated.
You're not kicking me out?
Mr. Otten called for you. Once he settles down, he'll want to speak with you again. Until then, please make yourself at home while I go to work out the details of this visit with your associates.
She turns and heads back up the staircase without waiting for a response from me. I collapse on the stone bench with a sigh. I can't catch a break, can I?
Are you okay?
Nikki has followed me down the stairs. She looks concerned. No worries, I'm fine. After all, crazy old man yell at me all the time. She smiles, and I think I hear a small giggle escape her lips. She's amused.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's hardly your fault to apologise.
Just sympathizing with you.
I always say that. Like it's not your fault. Because it's a sympathy thing, but I don't get it. I always say, that's not your fault, I need to apologise. I say it a lot to like customer service people when they're like, oh, I'm really sorry. I'm like, well, it's not your fault. You're trying to help me. My brain just does not work the same way as, majority of people. Right, not part of your Kansei, or you're just trying to be nice?
What do you think?
It's no good. Mr. Otten's refusing to come out.
Naki and Limei join us in the front hall.
Detective Gursky is still up there trying to talk to him, but he won't listen to reason.
Any idea what's going on up there?
No, I can't think of anything I've read that's like this.
I don't know what you did, but you've got Mr. Otten bunkered up and they're pretty good.
What do you think? You saw me?
Yeah, I saw. It doesn't make any sense, though. He seemed pretty insistent about talking with us today. Limei, what do you think?
Becky turns to the young girl. Limei closes her eyes. It almost looks like she's ready to drift off to sleep.
He's scared.
Yeah, we figured that much out already. Anything else? What about when he first reacted?
She inhales and lets out a tiny breath.
He was not surprised.
Surprised? Strange. Does that mean he expected to see me? But if that were the case... My thoughts are interrupted by a new voice.
Whoa. Hey, I didn't know we were having guests today.
That's gotta be Liam. A young man, probably in his teens or early 20s, is staring at us from the hallway. His gaze passes over Limei, Aki, and Naoki before resting on me.
Way to go.
He gives me a thumbs up. What? It also kind of looks like him. If you look at the two pictures, there's sort of a similarity. Sorry, I'm having a fiddly day. I'm not apologising. I'm not going to apologise. I am having a fiddly day. If it's annoying you, then you'll just have to deal with it. Can't stop fiddling. What?
I don't know how you managed to get 3 at once. That's a pretty sweet haul of chicks, man.
Oh. Who? Them?
But I'm a guy.
Aki holds back a snicker.
Well, crap.
He shrugs and regains his composure quickly.
Ah, well, I've seen worse.
What's that supposed to mean?
Let's see. A bunch of people hanging out in a lobby for no reason. That's an easy one. Uncle called you out here, and now he's having a hissy fit and making you wait. Am I right?
Got it in one. And you must be Liam Otten.
This guy's Liam Orton? I guess I can see why Marissa mistook him for me. We look like we could pass for brothers. I feel a little insulted that she equated me with this guy, though. Everything about him screams slacker. He doesn't look like he's had a hard day in his life.
I'm Liam, alright? But who are you? You definitely don't look like business partners. Uncle's not the kind of guy who lets just anyone enter. He's all crazy paranoid that way.
If he's as paranoid as you say, why are you here?
Nikki ignores Liam's question and counters with her own. Liam shrugs.
I'm family. It's not like he's got a choice.
Despite his casual air, I detect a hint of smugness around him. He probably enjoys feeling like he's above us. I've known this guy for about 10 seconds and he already ticks me off. I'm just thinking Aki and Naoki are probably twins. They look very similar. Naoki looks like he agrees with me, but it's clear he's trying to hide his feelings. Aki, on the other hand, doesn't seem bothered at all.
Ah, so you're visiting your uncle today?
No, I live here.
It's a little hurt that she'd assume otherwise.
Really? That's even cooler. Must be kind of boring for you, though.
Huh?
I was looking around earlier and nearly all the doors are locked.
His wounded expression quickly transforms into one of pride.
That's because you're a visitor. You don't get many access privileges. I'm allowed in, like, every room in the house.
Like? So, not all of them.
Aki's eyebrows shoot up. She definitely looks interested.
Yeah, well...
Liam looks to the side and mumbles.
There's like a lock on his office in the security room. Those rooms are pointless anyway.
Oh, well, if that's all.
Naoki shrugs casually and Liam relaxes his shoulders. I glance at Naoki's, staying at some invisible point on the ground, trying his best not to be in this conversation. I can't remember what his power is. Naoki leans towards Liam and tilts her head as if to whisper in his ear.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
Her voice is suddenly quiet, conspiratorial almost.
Yeah, I guess so.
Naoki watches Liam's expression carefully as it changes from uncertainty to curiosity.
I don't suppose I could ask you for a favor.
What?
It's caught off guard by the request.
Well, seeing as your uncle seems to be hanging us both out to dry, maybe we could at least spend the time doing something interesting.
Hi, Jesse. Yes, do you have an all-access pass? How you doing? How is your Sunday going?
Like...
I don't know. Maybe you could show me around. We could poke around your uncle's precious privacy while he's busy being difficult.
He smirks.
I guess I've got nothing better to do with my time. Sure, why not?
He calls his arm around Aki's waist and guides her towards the hallway.
Aki.
Split up and explore what you can. Something about this doesn't settle well with me at all, and we might not get another chance.
That's her putting her thoughts in everyone's head. I really wish she wouldn't do that. I'm still surprised every time she uses her brain voice or Kansei or whatever. Is she always like this?
Yeah, Aki has a way with people. She's persuasive.
No offense, but that was a really thinly veiled bit of manipulation there. Why do you fall for it?
She uses her Kansei to push someone's thoughts in the direction she wants.
So, mind control.
Nothing that powerful. Just subtle suggestions, like a whisper in the back of your mind.
I hope she doesn't intend to use that on me.
She can't.
What do you mean?
Those with Kansei are more sensitive. You'd know it's her voice.
To us, it sounds like she's speaking directly, but normal people only feel like they've just had a random impulse.
Naoki glances at the floor and kicks aside some imaginary dust with the side of his foot. What?
Nothing. We should probably get going. I'd rather not split up if we don't have to. I don't do well exploring new places.
You're not even leaving the house. How bad could it be?
Well, I got stuck in an elevator once because I couldn't figure out how to get it to go to another floor.
No.
It's true.
You may nods a head in confirmation. You may want to think about how you managed to accomplish that. Right then, what should we do? Okay. I'm going to save. This feels like a choice to come back to. Just go alone. Let's go all together.
Is it really okay?
Not a jerk. And I get an achievement for it. Woo, boop, boop. Sure, why not? As long as we learn something, I'm sure Aki won't care.
Is that okay with you, Lee May?
It's fine.
I mean, he's obviously, nervous. Don't want to make it, I mean, there's no reason for us to dislike this person. The three of us walk down the hallway together. Aki hangs back behind Lee May and I. He seems uncertain. I thought we were all going together. Well, you're not coming.
I'm coming!
Aki hurries to catch up to us. There's nothing to be afraid of, man.
That's easy for you to say. I'm not like you.
The expression changes in Lee May's eyes briefly as if she's just recalled something that she'd hoped to forget. So you're nervous? Big deal.
Yeah. No big deal.
The hallway stretches out with doors on either side. Behind the glass door at the end, a staircase leads downwards to parts unknown. So where do you two want to start? Maybe we should start at the end of the hall and work back.
Anything but the stairs.
Let's take the stairs.
Naki and Lee May speak at the same time before they both fall silent. Good morning. Ooh. I'm quiet? Really? Are you sure you've just not got my stream turned down? 'Cause, the mic value seems to be fairly, consistent? And you got your first odd-numbered achievement. Interesting. Oh. Well, I don't know what to suggest. Because unless something's changed on the output, I'm... Ah! Yes, this is Kansei. Second turn. It is the second one in a trilogy, I believe. About a guy that can touch a dead person and find out their last moments. So, yeah. We solved a murder in a coffee shop. Apparently it was yesterday for them. We did it last year. And now we... last year, year before last? I don't know. We did the first one, anyway, at some point previously to this. I've just realised it could be last year, or I could have read my dates wrong. Because, it's 2022, and I forgot that. Anyway, yeah, so at the moment there's no one dead yet, but we are exploring. Oh, hang on. Maybe I did knock a thing earlier. Okay, is that better, Jessie? I may have knocked the little bobbly bit on top at some point, probably when I was dusting. Anyway, hopefully that's better. Right. Okay. Naki looks nervous as usual. Lee May looks moody. For some reason, they seem to be expecting me to make a decision. Yeah, okay. I don't know why I knocked that, though, because I'd forgotten there was a knob up there. Huh. Yeah, well, hopefully it wasn't too bad. I guess Jessie needs better speakers. But no, it was actually on the lowest setting. So yeah, I think probably a dust at the top of the mic and it knocked it. Or when I was rearranging things, I've rearranged things lots, so God knows how long it's been like that. But anyway, hopefully that's fine now. But anyway, let's carry on. And thanks, Clarity. So yeah, hopefully. Also, all of these kids apparently have like special powers. Ah, fair enough. Yes, if you've been using that, I guess it just depends on how it sounds on the. Oh, maybe that's why my intro music was drowning me out the other day. I should probably check the VODs. But it hasn't been like it's been like massively low, just possibly lower than normal. Admittedly, the stairs aren't the most inviting thing about this place, but just because they're out of the way doesn't mean they're that scary. So?
Where should we go?
Didn't I just ask them that? Why am I the one that has to decide now? It's not as if we won't have to check out all these places eventually anyway. Last door on the right, last door on the left. Let's take the staircase. She's glaring at me. I'm going to take the staircase. Let's take the staircase.
What?
Lumei doesn't smile, but her expression flickers just slightly. She looks pleased. I mean, it's a staircase. It's not like we're going in an elevator. You can't get trapped in a staircase. And she looked so unhappy.
But why?
I'm going to have to check it out anyway. Might as well get it over with.
I guess that makes sense.
The three of us descend the stairs. Lumei leads the way, striding confidently down, while Naoki clings to the handrail with both hands. Dude, nothing's going to happen.
Are you sure?
Okay, and what exactly do you expect to happen? You think a ghost is going to leap out at us?
No, but if there were a ghost, you'd see it, right?
No? What makes you think that?
Lumei said you could sense when someone nearby is dead.
Sorta. It's more like being able to sense strong emotions, though. Fear, mostly, sometimes desperation. I pick up on the emotions of someone once they realise they're dying. It's really only the powerfully negative stuff, though. It's not like I get warm fuzzies from grandmothers who die in their sleep.
I'm sorry. I can't imagine having to live like that.
Well, I can't imagine not living like this. It feels like most of my life has been a...
dead end.
What?
Lumei points to the door at the bottom of the staircase.
Oh.
I head down the stairs and inspect the door. It looks like the rest of the doors in the house. Every time I touch it, it beeps at me, but it doesn't budge. Looks like it's shut tight.
Sophia did say that we'd only have access to certain areas of the house.
I guess that doesn't include the basement.
Then let's go back.
Naoki leads the way as we return to the hallway. That wasn't so terrible, was it?
Well, no.
By the way, you mentioned that Lumei told you about my ability.
She's the one who noticed you first. When you used your Kansei yesterday, she felt it.
The emotions of the deceased were amplified in you.
I see. Is this better now, Jessie? I found a knob I'd knocked. I twiddled the knob. It's all good now. I think. Awesome. Yeah. I don't know how long it's been like that. You know, pro streamer here. Seems like nothing escapes this girl.
Well, should we keep exploring the house?
Yeah. It's because I've like assembled and reassembled this quite a few times, moving things, and then, you know, I try and keep the dust off the top of the equipment, and obviously at some point I'd knocked the gain knob. And I guess I'm just not feeling like particularly overexcited today, so I'm possibly a little quieter, so it was more obvious. Either way, I found the issue now, so we're good. If it happens again, I know where to look. Yeah, let's go. Oh no. Ugh.
Whoa, are you okay?
I don't feel so good.
It's happening.
What's going on?
I feel my stomach churning. Limei looks ill too. Please don't.
Scared. He's scared.
Who? Kansei?
I clutch at my stomach. Everything feels so light. It's Mr. Orton. I race down the hallway, still clutching at my stomach. Mr. Orton! I stop at the staircase, barely stopping for breath as I head towards Mr. Orton's office. Naoki chases after me, stopping short at the top of the stairs. Something's wrong with Mr. Orton. I rush to the door and pound on it frantically. Mr. Orton! Mr. Orton! Gursky grabs me by the shoulders and pulls me away from the door. Let me in, there's something wrong.
Whoa, kid, calm down.
I feel like I'm about to throw up, but I doubt Detective Gursky would appreciate that. He's not okay. Gursky stares at me for a moment. He looks torn. I can tell he's not exactly ready to trust me yet, but I think he also feels like something is wrong. Finally, he turns to Sophia.
Mr. Rotten has been unusually quiet for a while. Are you sure everything is okay? Is there any way we can force ourselves in?
Sophia does not look pleased by his request.
It's certainly unorthodox. I don't think Mr. Orton will be pleased.
I think he'd be even less pleased if he needed medical attention and we didn't get it to him.
Sophia sighs and nods.
Very well. The only way to open the office without express permission is to reset the security system.
And how exactly does one do that?
Someone needs to reboot the system manually, then someone else has to enter the restart code within 10 seconds of the system being rebooted.
Sounds complicated.
It's meant to provide maximum security for Mr. Orton.
Mr. Orton was scared to see me, but he wasn't surprised. Does he know me? She's the killer. Fair enough. Okay, we've got one vote for Sophia.
I'm the only one here who knows the code, so someone else will have to go to the basement to reset the power.
If you mean down the staircase, I think that door is locked to visitors.
It is, but I can open it from here. Once you head down there, everything will be fine.
Detective Gursky glances over my shoulder.
All right, Naoki, go reset it.
What? Why me?
Somehow, I get the feeling Naoki says that a lot. He doesn't look too thrilled to have to go back down there. Just hit another save point here. I like to save at the major choices because it makes it easier to go back and replay things. I'm sure it'll be okay.
Right.
Ooh. Resetting the security system. It's like a fetch quest on every single first-person shooter. Okay. Okay. Spoilers! Naoki doesn't seem too inspired by my words, but he leaves anyway. I'd like to think I'm making the right decisions because I'm getting achievements, but I don't know whether you get an achievement for the other side anyway, hence why I'm saving. We stand in awkward silence for a few minutes before the lights flicker off. As soon as the lights power back on, Sophia punches in a rapid-fire series of numbers into the keypad beside the door. The door swings open and the three of us crowd into the doorway. That does not look good.
Mr. Orton!
Sophia rushes in and grabs the body lying on the floor.
Mr. Orton! Sir!
She shakes him gently, but he doesn't respond. Detective Gursky leans over Mr. Orton's body and places 2 fingers on his
He
neck.
doesn't have a pulse.
No! He was just alive a moment ago!
Sophia pulls Mr. Orton's body away from the desk and tries to roll it over, but she can't support his weight.
What are you doing?
There's still a chance I can save him! Please help me!
Gursky points at me.
Kansei, help us move the body.
I step forward and coil my arms into one of Mr. Orton's arms. With a groan, Detective Gursky and I lift the body and lay Mr. Orton on his back. As I lay Mr. Orton's arm down, my hand brushes against his. Oh no. Not now. Not! Even as I struggle to maintain consciousness, my mind is flooded with Mr. Orton's final thoughts. I'm hot, but it's not because of my surroundings. I feel like I'm burning up from the inside. I can't breathe, and all I feel is fear. Why didn't I protect her? I never should have let her be with him. I wish I had never met him. No, I wish I could have stopped him. I was so close. No matter what, he mustn't find it. Please, someone, anyone, keep it safe. The vault must be protected at all costs. I open my eyes slowly. I'm kneeling on the ground, but Detective Gursky and Sophia aren't even looking at me.
1,
Oops. Sophia has her arms on Miss Dalton's chest with her fingers interlocked.
1, 2, 3, 4.
She pumps his chest with her hands, counting out loud as she does. Miss Dalton doesn't move. Again she pumps his chest, trying to start his heart, but again nothing. She leans down and grabs his mouth, but Detective Gursky steps in and pulls her away.
That's enough.
What are you doing? There's still a chance!
She punches him with her free arm, but it doesn't affect him.
Look at him. His skin is pale, his pupils are dilated, and he's covered in sweat. There's a good chance he was poisoned, and you could be poisoned too if you try to resuscitate him.
Sophia makes another desperate attempt to escape from Detective Gursky's grasp, but he holds her firm.
Don't. You did your best, but there's nothing we can do now.
Sophia's knees buckle under her and she falls to the ground with a choked sob. I thought she was just Mr. Orton's personal assistant, but his death seemed to have really shaken her up. Detective Gursky kneels beside her and places a hand gently on her shoulder.
Sophia, everything's going to be okay.
She shakes her head, but when she opens her mouth to speak, all she can do is sob. I back out of the room slowly. They really don't need me here right now. In the hallway, Naoki and Lee May are waiting.
Lee May said he's gone.
I nod slowly.
What happened?
I think it was poisoning, but I don't know.
Did you see it?
Yeah, he was scared of something. Someone, I think. I still don't know why. His final wish was to protect the vault.
What's the vault?
No clue.
We should find Aki. She'll know what to do.
She's coming.
Lee May turns towards the staircase just as Aki reaches the top.
Hey, what happened? The lights went out for a moment.
Mr. Orton died.
Died? How?
Poisoning, it seems.
Did you read his last moments?
Yeah, he was regretting meeting someone. Said he needed to protect a vault of some sort.
Interesting. I haven't seen any vaults around here, but I assumed that it would be hidden.
Detective Gursky exits the study with Sophia. She appears to have calmed down, but her body still trembles every time she breathes in.
The police are on their way. It's a bit of a drive for them, so we'll have to sit tight until then. I suggest we all wait downstairs. As I don't have any jurisdiction here, it's only a suggestion.
He looks directly at me.
But it's the best option if you want to stay unnoticed.
He turns and leads Sophia down the staircase, helping her with one step at a time. Mikey frowns as they leave.
Always the gentleman. Nothing. Anyway, we should probably follow his suggestion and head downstairs. We wouldn't want to get into any more trouble than we already are.
What do you mean by that? Since when are we in trouble?
It's not you.
Mikey shoots a glance at him, and the expression on his face makes it obvious she just told him something. I suddenly remember something that was bothering me earlier. You know, Detective Gursky told me that you guys belong to the government. What does that mean?
It means that Miko shouldn't talk so much.
She heads down the stairs before I can ask anything else. Naoki follows meekly, but Lee May stands with me. What's up?
Do you truly want to know?
About you guys? Well, I think I deserve an explanation.
But do you want one?
Well, yeah, I guess so.
We're on parole for crimes past. Gursky is our parole officer.
A what? Lee May nods once, looking satisfied with her succinct explanation. She turns and heads down the stairs without another word. Parole? They're all convicts? Wait, even Naoki? Aki I could understand, but Naoki? What about Lee May? What did she do? I'm starting to worry about the sort of people I've fallen in with here. Slowly I descend the staircase, measuring one step after another. Maybe I really shouldn't have asked. I guess Aki, if she can plant thoughts, could probably really easy convince people to give her stuff. I can't remember what Naoki's power is. Because it's been a while. I didn't rewatch my VOD or anything from the last game or look at the summary. because I didn't have time. But, you know, it's fine. When I get to the bottom, Detective Gursky glances at me with mild amusement.
Glad you could make it. Did you take a wrong turn somewhere?
No,
You okay?
I'm fine. I look around the room, hoping to change the subject. Where did everyone go?
Miss Millerson wasn't feeling well, so Naoki offered to make some tea for her. They both went to the kitchen. Aki said she had to use the restroom, although I suspect she just wants to look around. And I'm never entirely sure what Lee May is doing. The house is in lockdown right now, so it won't let any of us leave until Sophia unlocks it. I guess you can roam around or do whatever you feel like.
Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Detective Gursky stands across the room from me, arms folded across his chest. He appears to be deep in thought, but it's not long before he notices I'm looking at him.
What?
Nothing.
Well, that's not true.
Nothing I'm going to talk about then. He uncrosses his arms and sighs.
I don't know where you've been all these years or why, but that look in your eyes is still the same.
What look?
The one that says you're already trying to figure everything out. It's like watching someone who just started work on a puzzle. You're digging through the pieces and looking to build a frame, but you don't have much yet.
Not much is true. I don't remember seeing you before, though.
I doubt you would. We've never met in person. I sure heard a lot about you, though. Both of you.
I suddenly feel my stomach knot up. How much is a lot?
Not enough, apparently. I thought you were dead. We all did.
Yeah, that was kind of on purpose.
Do you have any idea how much work was put into finding you?
Don't even start. I'm not in the mood to hear a lecture from someone who doesn't know what I'm going through.
You know, back in the day, I couldn't go 10 minutes without hearing your names. Oh, they're so great. What heroes these kids are. Why can't we have such helpful people here? What a joke. When we found her body, the first person they looked for was you, but you were nowhere to be found.
Sister died.
At first, they thought you'd been kidnapped. As days passed, they thought maybe you'd been killed. When I saw you yesterday, I thought you had finally come back to do something worthwhile again.
I solved that murder for you, didn't I? What more do you want?
What about your sister's murder? You're the only witness, but you ran away. Why?
He doesn't understand anything. It's complicated.
Things are only as complicated as you want them to be.
That's not true. Like you told me the same thing this morning.
Then maybe you should listen.
I'd rather you didn't get involved. This is something I have to deal with on my own.
Sorry, kid. I'm sworn to uphold the law. Even if you don't want me getting involved, I kinda have to.
I know, I sigh and let my hands fall to my sides. It's not what you think.
We'll talk about this more later, but I promise that this isn't over. I got a call this morning about my report from yesterday. You've already caused a disturbance with your return.
Oh no, did Schultz find out yet?
Are you kidding? She was the first.
And that's why I didn't want to tell you who I was. I knew they'd all find out I was back.
They'd find you eventually. It was only a matter of time.
Am I in trouble?
Yeah, I'd say so. If it weren't for Aki's insistence that you stay with her, I'm sure they'd already have come to take you back.
This is not good. This is so not good. What am I supposed to do?
Oh, I don't know. Why don't you try actually having a backbone this time around?
That's harsh, dude. If you weren't there, you shouldn't really be commenting. Also, please tell me what happened. Listen, I'm sorry, okay? I was 15 and stupid and shouldn't have run away. But can we just focus on the dead body we've got on our hands right now? I kind of feel like we're letting the past get in the way of the present.
The present only exists because of the past, you know.
I mean, that's how time works, but... Gursky studies my face carefully, gauging my reaction. Finally, he sighs and shakes his head.
But I see your point. Figuring out the cause of death for Mr. Otten does take priority right now. I'll be upstairs. Come talk to me if you find out anything.
Okay. It's a water fountain, glass orb, by light bulb, bowl in the middle. Bamboo, Chinese calligraphy, peach tree that's actually made of light bulbs. Door to the office. Okay. Move. It's the hallway. Upstairs. Let's try the hallway first. To enter the hallway, I'm nearly run over by a guy as he rushes out from around the corner.
Whoa! Sorry, dude.
Who are you? He skids to a halt and jumps a few times, holding his hands out in self-defense. Hi? He stops for a moment to look me over.
Never seen you around before. You're not one of Liam's friends, are you?
Not really.
Oh, good. I can't stand Liam's friends. Don't tell him I said that.
You're secret safe with me, I guess. Who are you?
Kevin, I'm the IT guy. I run all the security here. Got a blip in my system saying the power went out, so I came here to see what happened. Sophia hasn't been answering my calls.
You came here? I thought the house was on lockdown. Kevin taps the temple of his head.
Master code unlocks any door.
Right.
And who are you again?
Kansei. I'm special investigator.
Wicked. So Big Will is finally gonna bring down the hammer on Liam in his little nightlife.
Big Will? Does he mean William Orton? Actually, Mr. Orton just passed away. Kevin stared at me blankly for a moment, but his expression surely changes as he processes my statement.
Passed away? As in, dead?
I'm not entirely sure there's another way to interpret that.
Whoa.
Kevin runs his fingers through his hair and laughs nervously.
Sorry, man, this is just... Wow, I can't believe it. It's kinda unreal, you know? I just saw him yesterday and he looked fine. Well, as fine as a guy his age can look. Well, as fine as a super paranoid guy his age can look. Well, as fine as a super paranoid guy who drinks a lot at his age.
Yeah, I get it.
So, what happened?
I don't even know what happened myself. I'm not even exactly sure what to tell this guy. I may have been murdered? Well, he might have been murdered.
Holy cow! Murdered? I didn't see that one coming.
Kevin rubs his chin thoughtfully.
I guess that's what he meant.
What are you talking about?
Mr. Otten never liked to talk about his history. Anytime someone asked, he'd always say that he'd buried his past a long time ago. Once, when he'd had a little too much to drink, he told me that he was afraid that one day his past would come back and return the favor.
That was pretty ominous. Fit with the fact that he's built up his house like a fortress, though.
Man, dead? Really?
Shakes his head.
Sorry, that's just too weird. I'm still having a hard time believing it. So, are the police gonna question us all and stuff?
Probably. I grimace as I realize I'm about to be dragged into yet another investigation.
Well, I guess I'll hang out here until then. I'll be in the security room if you need me. It's the first door on the left here in this hallway.
Okay. Examine. Retina scanner, clearance. Ooh, codes. Painting. More scanner. More painting. Scanner, painting. Scanner, painting. Move. Security room. Entrance. Question mark, question mark. Staircase. Question mark. Security room, I guess. Try the door, but it doesn't open. I thought Kevin said he'd be in here. I knock on the door, I hear the sound of footsteps. The door slides open.
What's up?
You said you'd be here.
Yeah, I did. What do you want?
I crane my neck to peer over Kevin's shoulder. The room behind him looks mostly empty, but I can see the glow of television screens across the wall. Can I come in? Kevin frowns, but he steps aside to let me in.
Sure, why not? Since Mr. Otten hired you, you'd probably be allowed in here anyway.
It doesn't take long to scan the contents of the cold room. There's not much on the towel floor, save for a single chair. A long curtain stretched across one wall, it bears a lonely keyboard and mouse. Mounted on the wall are several monitors, all flickering with images of various rooms in the house. At first glance, it seems to be a room meant for high security corporate building rather than just a house.
Welcome to my Fortress of Solitude. This is the command center for the entire house.
What should I talk about? So you can see everything in here?
Not everything. Mr. Otten's office is strictly off limits. Very private, you know. No one knows what he does in there.
He folds his arm across his chest and scowls.
As if it isn't obvious.
Obvious? What's obvious?
Mr. Otten never likes to be far from his booze. His solution to anything stressful is to drink it away. Of course, he tries to hide it because it's not very professional, but every time he walks out of that room, he reeks of alcohol.
So if someone were to poison his alcohol, it would be guaranteed that he would drink it. Do you think of any reason that someone would want Mr. Orton dead?
You're kidding, right?
No?
You must be new around here. Mr. Otten's infamous around these parts. He's a ruthless sort of dude. Any little guy tries to start something new, he crushes them. Poaches employees, spreads rumors, heck, he's even brought in the courts multiple times. He'll say that these other companies are infringing on his trademark or something equally stupid. Of course, that's only the stuff we know about. If you ask me, he's got more than just dirty business practices going on. I mean, seriously, look at this place. No one builds a house like this in the middle of nowhere unless he's got something to hide.
Oh, they look tasty.
If he's not doing something illegal, I'll eat my motherboard.
Why'd you work for Mr. Orton?
The money. Duh.
He said he's probably doing illegal things. Doesn't that bother you?
Never actually witnessed him do anything illegal, and maintaining his security system is harmless. So even if he goes down, I can't be held responsible for anything.
In other words, you don't really care where the money comes from as long as you don't get in trouble.
Yeah, pretty much. Why, should I?
I'm starting to think that I'm not going to like anyone in this house. These are the people Mr. Orton surrounds himself with. I can't imagine the sort of people he's trying to hide from. Whew. How'd you get this job?
Mr. Otten offered it to me.
Really?
Well, yeah, he handpicks everyone who works for him.
How'd he find you?
I graduated in the top of my class at a university he funds. He offered this job to me straight out of college.
Yeah, no, I can see, Dan. They look lovely. I've been lurking in the stream. Because I've been pootling. But yeah. They look awesome. How are you doing, Dan? That's pretty lucky.
Yeah, that's the word for it.
Whoa, am I imagining things, or is he resentful about something? That's
Come
all
by
for
if you
now.
want to ask me anything else.
Okay, buried his past, drinks too much, underhanded tactics. Examine. Ah. Move then. Move. Let's just work our way around. Ooh, kitchen! The atmosphere in the kitchen is tense. The sound of my footsteps sounds unusually loud on the top floor. Hey?
Hey.
Naoki welcomes me with a half-hearted smile. Sophia is standing at the other end of the kitchen, sipping slowly on a cup of tea. Her eyes don't waver from the small cup in her hands. I lean in towards Naoki. Is she okay?
I think so. She's not crying as much, at least.
Sophia's face is still pale, but she looks a lot better than she did when we first found Mr. Orton's body.
Kansei,
Yeah?
I hope you don't mind if I ask you something.
No, go ahead.
How did you know that something bad happened to Mr. Orton?
That's...
Naoki, please. I was asking Kansei.
Sorry.
So, how did you know?
Okay, what should I say? Tell her the truth, she might think I'm crazy. I'm gonna lie to her. I'm gonna tell her the truth. I guess you could say I have some sort of sixth sense.
A sixth sense? As in psychic?
I guess you could call it that.
Can you give me details on how it works?
Whoa, she actually sounds like she might believe me. Can't really say. I just feel things. I get sick sometimes and then I know something bad has happened. Naoki is staring hard at me as if I should keep quiet. I guess talking about my Kansei is a bad idea. Still, I feel as if she deserves at least a partial truth.
I see. I suppose it's different then.
Different from what?
Many years ago, Mr. Otten experimented with extending the mental capacities of human beings.
He did what now?
It's not like what you described, though.
Hi, Ivor!
What sort of experiments?
I don't really know much about it. It was a long time ago, before I started working for him. He just mentioned it in passing once, so I thought maybe that had something to do with it. He was terribly drunk at the time, though, so I suppose he might not have even been telling the truth. I'm sorry, I'm jumping to the strangest conclusions here. I must not be in a very good frame of mind right now.
Olivia sighs and shuts her eyes. She looks like she wants to cry again. I'm sorry, you really cared about Mr. Orton, didn't you? For a moment, Sophia doesn't respond. Her shoulders shudder as she takes in a deep breath. Ooh, juicy ratios. Finally, she opens her eyes and speaks in barely more than a whisper.
I don't know what I'm going to do now that he's gone.
I'm so sorry.
Loki places a gentle hand on Sophia's shoulder. For a moment I feel strange. She definitely sounds sincere, but something about what she said just sounds off. Yeah, this one has voiced characters, which is great, because I only have to do one voice then. Also, I am intrigued by the mystery.
I'm sorry. I just really want to find the person who did this. If there's anything you need to know, just ask, okay?
I think I'm going to renew my tea, though. So I need some hot tea. It's a bit cool. Yeah, sure, thanks. Okay, so we're just going to pause and take a quick tea break. I'll be back in a few minutes. Talk amongst yourselves. It won't be too long. Okay. Hang on. He obtained plasters so I can sort out my hands. We will talk to Naoki first. What do you think about Mr. Orton's death?
What do I think? I think it's terrible. I'm sorry that you had to see him dead. What do I think? I think it's terrible. I'm sorry that you had to see him dead.
Oh, I meant, who do you think did it?
I really can't say. I don't want to make any judgments.
He glances aside and begins to absentmindedly fiddle with his fingers. Could you please tell me your thoughts on everyone here?
Well, Liam is pretty angry with his uncle. His eyebrows went down every time he spoke about him.
Okay.
He covered his face when Aki started asking more questions, so he's got something to hide. I'm pretty sure Marissa's hiding something too. Every time she smiles, her eyebrows go up, as if she's worried.
The reporter.
After she finished her interview with Mr. Otten, she was even more nervous than before.
Naki glances at Sophia before leaning in and whispering.
Sophia was pretty frustrated when we came, but now she's really anxious. She won't stop pacing back and forth.
And what about Kevin?
You mean that guy with the red hair?
Yep.
I didn't really get to see his face. Sorry.
Don't worry about that. I was just curious. Really, it's good enough to know. Good enough that you know this much. I'm kind of
I've been
impressed.
studying body language for a while now.
I'm not a pretzel person, I think. Though I kind of like the whole salty carb thing. But those look pretty. Sammy's stream, sorry. What should I talk about? Okay, thanks.
Feel free to come talk more if you want.
Right. I have bandaged my fingers, so hopefully that will help a little. It doesn't help when it splits every time, and then it hurts every time I bend them. Right. Why do you work for Mr. Orton?
Mr. Otten values my services. I am a trained professional and an excellent personal assistant.
Oh, okay. That wasn't really an answer. What I meant was, why did you choose to work for him?
I have personal reasons, but my employment is both legal and morally sound.
Okay. Did Mr. Orton have some sort of vault at a bank?
He did not. Mr. Otten didn't trust banking institutions very much. He preferred to play the stock market himself. His belief was that he should be allowed to do as he pleased with his own money. And if he lost it all, then it was his fault. He'd rather lose everything on his own than gain a little interest from a bank playing it safe.
Rich guys. Okay.
Of course.
Come back later. Gas stove, recycling bin, dish towel, kettle, spoon with a hole in the bottom, empty pots, hot tea, microwave, fridge, all pre-packaged. Okay, done. Move. Okay. Ooh, guess what I found where he keeps all his rich person stuff. Oh, he's in here. He's like gazing blankly in the direction of a collection of old plates. I approach, but she barely seems to notice my presence. So, hey. Lima blinks slowly and turns to face me. She nods once to acknowledge my presence. I shift my weight from one foot to the next as she stares at me expectantly. What am I even supposed to say? How are you feeling? She stares at me with a mixture of surprise and confusion.
I don't know.
That's always my answer. How are you feeling? I don't know. She states it so simply, I almost feel foolish for asking. Guess I was just wondering if you were okay since someone died after all. She tilts her head and looks at me curiously.
Does it bother you?
Does what bother me?
Death.
Yeah, of course it bothers me. I mean, even if I've experienced it before, that doesn't mean I'm okay with it. Death is a terrible thing, no matter how often you see it. Well, it's an inevitability. It's only terrible if it's not, doesn't seem to be that person's time. Murder is definitely terrible. I stare at my hands and rub my fingers slowly together. My palms feel sweaty. What about you? Lima stares at me curiously as if she doesn't fully understand my question. I mean, are you bothered by death? She fidgets and examines her open palms the same way I just did. Slowly she rubs her fingers together her fingertips as if she's never seen her hands before. Finally she speaks.
He was very scared.
Mr. Orton?
Yes, but even though I felt his fear, I knew that I was not scared. I'm not scared, but I still feel scared. Does that mean I'm bothered or not bothered?
I sigh and lean against the door frame. I've always wondered about what it would feel like to die. Lima tilts her head to the side. She looks curious. I mean, I've experienced deaths, of course, but they're not mine. And somehow in the back of my mind, every time I do, I always know it's not mine. I always wondered, when I die, will I be afraid, or will I think that it's just someone else's death again? Or maybe by the time I die, I'll be so comfortable with it I won't care, even though I know it's mine. I turn to face Lima. She's watching my face carefully. I don't know, that wasn't really an answer, huh? I laugh and shrug casually. Honestly, I don't even know why I said any of that. I guess what I'm trying to say is that there isn't really an answer. You and I both have to carry each other's emotions. It's tiring and sometimes it's confusing. But I think that if we didn't have these abilities, we'd still be sad when other people are sad and scared when other people are scared. It's just being human. Lima smiles and takes my hand in hers.
Thank you.
Sure, you're welcome. What is everyone feeling right now?
Naoki is scared.
No, I mean, yeah, that's not our friends.
Oh, I apologize.
It's fine, I wasn't specific. I said that before the words came up. Okay, I can predict what this game is going to say. Imogen takes a deep breath and closes her eyes again. This time it takes her a little longer to sort out her thoughts.
Sophia is sad. She feels as if there is no hope, but there is also relief.
Interesting. Relief? Again, I feel uneasy about Sophia. Earlier when I asked her if she cared about Mr. Orton, she didn't actually answer me. What she said was she didn't know what she'd do now that she's gone. I don't know why that bugs me so much, but I seem like she was avoiding the question.
Marissa is scared and disappointed. There's so much emotion inside of her. It's all flowing at the same time. She wants to be happy, but she also feels very guilty. Humans are very complicated.
Yes. Lima nods earnestly as if she just struck a new idea. I nod in return.
Kevin is uncertain. He does not know what he should be feeling.
He definitely seemed to have trouble believing me when I told him that Mr. Orton died. Denial, I guess.
And Liam... I can't.
What's wrong?
He is with Aki right now. She is manipulating his emotions with her Kansei. I cannot tell what is his and what is not.
Aki. That girl seems to enjoy invading everyone's privacy. It's a wonder that Naoki and Lima put up with her. Hopefully whatever she's up to will lead to something useful. What should I say to her? What do you do before you live with Aki and Naoki?
I'm not allowed to speak about that.
Okay. Is there anything you are allowed to speak about? Ema closes her eyes and takes a small breath. Her lips move slowly as if she's poring over a list of things she's allowed to share. So I'm trying to pick up my email. My phone updated itself, so I'm never quite sure. There we go. Finally, she opens her eyes and smiles with a self-satisfied look on her face.
I'm authorized to share anything that might aid your investigation.
Whoa, what's with that phrasing? She sounds so formal all of a sudden. What should I say to her? Ah, what does the calligraphy in the front wall say?
No dust settles here. It means that this place is quiet and safe from influence of the outside world.
Interesting. Okay. Do you know much about the artifacts in this place? Mere nods. Could you maybe tell me about them?
If you wish. Most are safety charms meant to ward off danger.
It turns the large tapestry on the wall. What about this? What are these animals?
They are the 4 legendary creatures: tortoise, dragon, phoenix, and tiger.
For some reason this mythology feels familiar, but I'm not sure why. It's not anything I've ever studied. Do they stand for anything in particular?
Many things. Seasons, directions on the compass, sometimes schools of thought.
How are tortoises and tigers mythological?
Overall, they represent balance.
It's weird, they feel kind of familiar, especially the tiger.
The tiger and the dragon are mortal enemies.
Ema reaches out to touch the tapestry, but she hesitates and draws her hand back.
The dragon represents cunning and intelligence, and the tiger represents raw power and strength. Dragon and tiger, mind and body. They fight each other constantly, but neither can win.
My stomach tightens up as I look at the tapestry hanging on the wall. An endless fight where neither can win. Ema watches me carefully. She's trying to decipher my emotions, but I don't even fully understand what I'm feeling.
What bothers you?
I'm not sure. It's probably nothing. Ema doesn't seem satisfied with my response. No surprise there, since I'm not satisfied either. I don't really have anything to say, though, so our conversation devolves into an uncomfortable silence. I'll talk to you later. She nods. Tortoise, dragon, phoenix, tie, Chinese mythology, plates of the same animals, old armor from the Qin dynasty. Doors, some sort of scale, oracle bone, some sort of box, there's no label. Nice end. Okay, examine. Oh no, sorry, move. Alright, okay. Entrance. Let's go that side. Oh, a restroom. Weird. It looks like he built this place for visitors in mind. I wonder what changed. Maybe space between the frame and the walls. Another two-way mirror. Flip dispenser. Lamp, chair, non-comfy. Oh, what notes have we got now? Chinese mythology. Okay. Move. What's the restroom? What's this? Ooh, hello. Expensive furniture. If I had to name it, I'd call the living room. It doesn't feel like I lived in at all.
Oh, Kansei, hello!
Ah, Marissa. Oh, hey. She looks happy to see me. Did I do something?
Hey, did something happen? I saw Sophia rush by with that nice boy, but they didn't tell me what was going on.
Hang on, something's popping up. Sorry, it's got an alert across my screen, couldn't see. Okie dokes. Yeah. Not sure there's a tactful way to put this. Mr. Orton died.
What? Are you kidding?
No. Mercer stares into my eyes, searching me with a mixture of fear and panic. So she didn't know. She was feeling happy and guilty. Stare back until the truth of the incident sinks in. Her expression changes slowly as she realizes I'm not lying.
Are you sure? What happened?
What should I tell her? I think he was murdered. Yes, tell the press person.
Murdered? I suppose that shouldn't come as much of a surprise.
What do you mean?
William Otten is not a popular man. His business practices are already reprehensible, and there have been rumors of unethical treatment of some of his test subjects. That's why I came. I was hoping I'd be able to uncover something about what he might be doing.
So you're really just sneaking around trying to dig up some dirt?
It's really not what you think.
Okay, then what?
Nothing.
What should I ask? What sort of illegal things was Mr. Orton doing?
Well, I've heard that he used to head up a series of experiments for the government back in the day.
Oh, I don't think that's finished
Something about altering genetics. The whole thing wasn't exactly approved as humane, and pretty much everyone was kept in the dark about it.
Then how did you find out?
It's a long story, but the short version is I've met a lot of the victims. I've pieced together their stories and followed the trail back to William Otten.
Okay, so Mr. Orton toyed with the genetics and someone wants to kill him for it?
It's a possibility, isn't it?
I suppose. Earlier you talked about some rumors about Liam. What was that about?
Ah, those. Well, recently, word's been going around that Liam Otten is involved in dogfighting.
Whoa, that's a felony.
Not to mention extremely cruel.
Yeah. I'm glad he chose to draw the line somewhere at least.
I'm fairly certain he was just getting fed up with Liam's antics. It's one thing to dismiss underage drinking, but the heat from Liam's participation in animal cruelty is bad publicity he didn't need. I heard he was planning on cutting Liam from his will completely.
Hello, motive. Planning on, so he didn't get around to it yet.
As far as I can tell, no. But you'd really have to ask someone more knowledgeable than I.
Okay.
I'll talk to you later then.
Dining room table. This sort of TV pit is interesting. Evergreens, rhododendrons. Oh wait. Move. Okay, museum, living room, staircase. Some brown sky. That's locked. Okay. Right, so move. I guess we go upstairs because we haven't been upstairs. Talk to Gherkin. His name's not Gherkin, but I've currently forgotten it, so there we go. Do you really think Orton was murdered? Gursky. Detective Gursky sighs and rubs his temple slowly.
I don't know, kid. I can't just march in and declare it's a murder without any evidence. For all we know, he committed suicide.
Do you think he killed himself?
Hard to say. His reaction when he saw you certainly was unusual.
Do you recognize him?
It's not a level of fear you see in most people. He very likely could have done something foolish in response.
You think it's my fault?
Now, I never said that. There are a lot of things that might drive someone to suicide, but in the end, it's still the decision of the individual.
Yeah, I know. Gursky studies my face carefully before he speaks.
Back then, didn't you...
Yeah, I did. But I don't really want to talk about it. I reckon any of those really convicts.
Well, technically, no.
No?
They're not on record as having committed any crimes.
But Nime said you were their parole officer.
Handler is more like it. I'm supposed to make sure they don't cause any trouble.
He rolls his eyes.
That'll be the day.
More trouble? What sort of stuff have these guys been up to? What did they even do?
Hustling, mostly. The twins ran a lot of cons. Aki's got some sort of charm about her that makes people trust her. She's really manipulative, and her life is nothing but moral gray. Naoki's a good kid, but he'll do anything his sister tells him to do, and he's a fast learner. He can pick up on pretty much anything. They came to Edgewater 2 years ago and wreaked havoc for a good year before we finally caught them.
He rubs his head slowly as if an old headache has just found its way back to him.
But Aki is Aki. Somehow she managed to cut a deal. Clean records in turn for their special services. So now the government uses them as investigators, spies, or anything else requiring a quick mind and an expendable body.
That's why she said they were a special investigation agency.
It's not an inaccurate statement. And on that note, be careful about what she says. She's not a liar, but she likes to tell misleading truths.
What about Li Mei? Where did she come from?
I'm afraid that's classified information.
I raise an eyebrow but don't press the question. It's obviously not something I want to get involved with. I heard that Mr. Orton was conducting genetic experiments on people. Mika's eyes widen.
That's a pretty strong claim. Are you sure?
Well, not exactly. I mean, Marissa said there were rumors about it.
Listening to rumors is a dangerous thing. Each has a grain of truth wrapped up in a powerful lie.
Well, there's enough truth in them that she came all the way here to investigate.
And then let's hope she turns something up. Until then, I'd be wary of believing things without any substantiation.
Do you know if Mr. Orton has a vault at the bank?
I assume most rich people do. Why do you ask?
I heard him mention something about keeping a vault safe before he died.
That's strange. I didn't hear anything.
Maybe I just made it up.
No, you're probably onto something. Although, looking at his lifestyle, I'm actually inclined to think that any vault he cares about would be in this house.
How do you know?
He rarely leaves the house, and security here is tight, even for a high-ranking official. It's obvious that he has trust issues. Someone like him wouldn't let a bank hold on to something important. Besides, I'm sure he'd want to keep a close eye on it too. If there's a vault, it's definitely somewhere in here.
Kioski's right. It has to be hidden in this place somewhere. Wonder if anyone here knows about it.
Try not to get into too much trouble.
Can't promise it. Art screen. Door locked. Security pad. No dust settles here. Okay. Okay. As I enter the lobby, Aki races down the stairs and nearly runs me over. Whoa!
Oops, sorry, Con.
Where have you been?
I was just upstairs with Liam. Oh, don't look at me like that. It's not what you think.
Of course.
For your information, I was just asking Liam about the staff. Did you know that none of Mr. Otten's personal staff are paid?
What? That can't be true. Kevin said that Mr. Otten plays him well.
Well, then Kevin was lying.
And what makes you think Liam wasn't lying?
Let's just say that he strongly believes it's in his best interest to be truthful.
In other words, you use your Kansei.
Got it in one.
So if Mr. Otten doesn't pay anyone, why do they work for him?
Kevin's family owns a small business that's in serious trouble. Mr. Otten pulled a few strings to keep the creditors away, and they'll stay away as long as Kevin works for him. As for Sophia, it seems her husband's heart is failing. Mr. Otten promised to move him to the top of the recipient list for the company's new organ creation project.
Well, so basically he gets people to be completely devoted to him by holding on to what they love, and in the end he doesn't have to pay a cent.
I have to admit, I'm actually kind of impressed.
This is getting complicated.
What about you? Find anything interesting?
Well, when I read Mr. Orton's death, the last thing he thought about was protecting a vault. He said the vault had to be protected at all costs.
Maybe the killer is after it too. We should try to figure out what's in it. Or, better yet, actually find it.
Did you learn anything when you were speaking with Liam?
Well, he did mention that his uncle likes to drink.
Everybody knows that. It's not exactly news. Everybody knows that. Oh my god, I'm predicting the responses now.
It sure makes poisoning him easy though, huh?
So, you and the others are like criminals, huh?
I see Miko has been talking to you.
Only May is the one who told me.
Well, I won't deny that we've done things on both sides of the law. But we're not just a bunch of criminals, okay? I have my reasons.
Explored as much of the house as I can.
But?
I haven't gotten a good look at the security room. Kevin's always in there, and I don't want to be poking around when he's watching.
I don't suppose you could sneak in or something?
I don't think so. Even if we found a way to get him out of that room, he'd probably lock the door behind him.
Darn. Well, exercise the options you have, I guess. Have you found that vault he was worried about?
Not yet.
Might want to start there.
Okay.
That's cool. We'll talk later.
Okay, move this way.
Hey, Kansei, right?
Hi, Liam. Liam approaches me as soon as I enter the hallway. Yeah, what's up? He runs his fingers through his hair and yawns.
Just wondering if you were on good terms with that police dude.
I won't really say that I am.
Huh. Well, that sucks.
He shoves his hands in his pockets.
I told him I wanted to go, and he was all like, I can't leave because Uncle is something or other.
Dad, you mean? Liam stares at me as if I've just placed an octopus atop my head.
What are you talking about?
Mr. Orton is dead. He just died. Did Aki even tell him any of this when she was speaking with him? Liam's eyes dilate as he processes my statement.
Wait, so that means...
His eyes light up with a self-satisfied smirk spreads across his face.
Well, there's irony for you.
What's so ironic about
Oh,
it?
come on. What isn't ironic about it? The man makes artificial hearts for a living, but his own ticker fails on him?
I wouldn't say it was his heart. I purse my lips and attempt to keep my voice calm. You don't seem that cut up about it.
Why should I be? He was due for it soon enough with the way he was drinking. A heart attack, right?
What if I get in trouble for punching this guy in the face? I'm just going with the truthy route. It looks more like he was murdered. Again, Liam takes a few seconds to process my statement. When it finally registers, his face twists into an expression of fear.
Murdered?
Liam begins pacing back and forth, muttering to himself under his breath as he does.
No, it's definitely no. She said I had more time. Why?
What? He finally turns back to me and grabs my shoulders.
Are you sure it was murder?
Well, we won't be able to say for sure until the autopsy, but yeah, pretty sure.
No. This is not good. Not good. Not good.
He glances back and forth as if he's accepting to see something leap out the shadows and take him.
I'm gonna... I need to think.
He dashes off down the hallway. Liam, wait! I take off after him and arrive in the main entrance just in time to see him race up the stairs. I follow him up the stairs, but he's already disappeared by the time I get there. Okay, did you see where he went?
Try not to get into too.
Okay. Right.
That's cool.
Okay, so we're just gonna redo the rooms. Kevin smokes.
You're an interesting guy, Kansei.
What are you talking about?
Well, for one, you keep some interesting company. I was bored, so I decided to run facial recognition on them. I found quite a few newsreels about them, complete with security camera footage and mugshots. I admit, I literally laughed out loud at the one where they sold ownership shares to the Space Needle.
What?
Oh, you didn't know? Like I said, you keep some interesting company. Weirdly enough, when I looked up their police records, they were completely empty. They haven't been charged with anything.
Did you look at me? I'm not surprised there. Detective Gursky said that Aki cut a deal and had actually used her Kansei to make her argument a little more compelling.
The other girl with you is the real problem, though.
Who? Nime?
Couldn't find a single thing on her. No online profile, no yearbook, no images of her anywhere, and no connection to anything your other friends did.
So maybe she doesn't like social networking and she was homeschooled. What's the big deal?
Dude, seriously? Gotta make a real effort to be that much of a ghost. There's no way that the government isn't involved in trying to cover something up.
Maybe she's one of those genetic mutations. You're one of the guys who thinks the moon landing was faked, aren't you?
Oh, come on, it's not like that. Besides, how much do you know about her anyway?
Can't exactly tell him that she has a Kansei that makes her a human sponge for emotions. Beyond that, I don't really know a thing. Aki seemed uncomfortable about the topic, and Detective Gerst shut me down when I asked. I know enough.
Of course you do. You're the genius detective, after all.
Oh no. Kevin taps a few keys on his keyboard, and two of the monitors light up with an old newspaper article.
Genius siblings solve another cold case. I gotta admit, you're actually kinda cool. So, are you on a super secret mission right now or something?
What are you talking about?
You know, since you're using a fake name and hanging out with criminals and stuff.
Oh, right. If you found that article, it means he knows who I am. I hate this house. I'm just gonna lie to him because... There we go. Yeah, I'm working undercover right now.
That's so cool!
So it might get him to tell me
do you
something.
think the government would hire me to do, like, spy computer stuff?
I don't know. I'll ask.
Sweet!
Do you know anything about a vault hidden in his house?
A vault? Can't say I do. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably in his office. It's the most secure place around here, after all. Although, I can't think of anything he might have that's more valuable than that precious artifact collection of his.
Truth until it's convenient to lie. Yeah! I mean, that's how normal people do it, right? Me, I'd probably just tell the truth. Like, if it were me, like saying stuff, I would just blurt out the truth because that's just how my brain works. But it's a computer game, so I want to get the best outcome. And making this guy think I'm a super spy is going to get him to help me. That's how neurotypicals manipulate, right? I said I would tell the truth and be empathetic because we went together with the kids to investigate, even though Aki told us to split up. So this is an empathetic choice.
He sunk more money than I care to think about buying all that old stuff up. Maybe that old museum of his is the vault. He certainly loves it enough.
What do you mean?
He wanders in there all the time, just to look at stuff.
Kevin points at one of the monitors on the wall. The glowing screen displays an angled image of the museum.
That room has so much stuff he cares about. You could probably say it's his vault.
Interesting. Kevin points to the bottom corner of the screen.
There's a blind spot right here. Anything under the camera won't show up on the monitor. It's the only place in the house with such a massive blind spot. I keep telling Mr. Alton that we should reposition the camera, but he refuses.
Interesting. Why would Mr. Alton willingly hide a portion of his house? Maybe there's something there he doesn't want Kevin to see. To go and inspect it myself. Do you know anything about about Liam's nightlife?
You mean all the drinking and gambling, or extra stupid stuff?
I was thinking about other things.
Oh, the dog fights then.
You knew about that?
Well, yeah. I'm the reason Mr. Alton found out in the first place. He asked me to track Liam's movements on his phone. Guess he didn't trust him. There's a surprise. Anyway, I noticed Liam was spending more and more time in a corner of town that's not really hot on the usual party clubs, so I did some more digging. Found out that Liam was watching dogfights, and in some cases, funding them himself. Big Will was furious when I told him. When you showed up, I thought he had hired a private investigator to get some proof. I guess it's kind of a moot point now.
So, about your family's debt. Kevin's face darkened and he tugs on his hair nervously.
Yeah, that.
There's nothing to feel bad about.
You think so? Because I think there's plenty to feel bad about.
He glares at me.
My parents took out a loan so I could go to a good college, yeah? Everything looks okay until my last year when the company suddenly changes their policy. The minimum payment shoots up and the interest rate goes through the roof.
They can't do that.
Sure they can. It was in the contract, printed all tiny and in legal junk.
He rolls his eyes.
My parents are too trusting, but they wouldn't have gotten into this situation if it wasn't for me.
It sounds too convenient.
And if I had been there, maybe I could have read the contract myself and seen something.
He looks as if he wants to say more, but instead he merely gazes at the ground.
So yeah, I feel pretty bad about it. But what can I do, you know?
You feel sorry for him.
Come by if you want to ask me anything else.
I mean, I'm curious. really won't let me look at anything. Okay, so let's redo kitchen. Naoki, do you do everything your sister tells you to do? Seems you keep giving up what you want in order to please her.
Actually, it's sort of the other way around. Our mother died during birth, so Aki was the one who had to raise me. She gave up her life for my sake. I guess after making her life so difficult, I'm just trying to make things easier for her now.
That is so messed up.
Besides, I don't do everything she tells me to. We argue all the time.
Seriously? Doesn't look like it's me.
Stay with us a little longer, and you'll see plenty.
Why do Aki and Detective Gursky hate each other so much?
Well, both of them have very strong personalities, but they have different approaches to solving problems. He thinks she's too impulsive, and she thinks he's too indecisive.
What do you think?
I think they're both right, and I think things are gonna go terribly again if they don't realize this.
Again, what happened?
I guess...
Naoki bobs his head back and forth as if he's trying to think of a tactful way to say something very blunt.
Well, they both agreed that it was the worst blind date ever.
What?
Oh, please don't tell anyone I told you that.
Yeah, sure, I can keep my mouth shut. Naoki smiles at me, he looks relieved.
I'm sorry, I have to get going.
What's that?
Aki wants me to look around upstairs for a bit.
Okay, sure. See ya, I guess. Whoa, does anyone in your family suffer from any kind of medical condition? Sophia places her hands on her hips and gives me a sharp glare.
Has someone been talking about my husband?
Oops, maybe I shouldn't have been blunt about that. Liam didn't. Aki. I was just asking. Let's be carefully weighing whether or not I'm telling the truth.
My husband is very ill right now, but it has nothing to do with Mr. Alton or anyone else here.
You sure? Sophia's eyes narrow.
Please do not pry into my private life. It's very rude.
That is true. Do you know anything about a vault or a safe hidden in this house?
Yes, Mr. Alton mentioned a safe place once or twice, although I don't know the exact location. I'm sure it's in the house somewhere, but the way he spoke of how inconvenient it was, I assume it wasn't located in his study.
Interesting. Do you know anything about any experiments with altering genetics?
Mr. Alton has run a good number of studies on genetics, but experimentation was more the forte of his old business partner. That was nearly 20 years ago, though.
Mention having more time. Find spot. Give any reason why anyone would want to kill him.
Sadly, I could name several. Mr. Alton wasn't a very popular man in the business world. His most recent project stepped on a lot of toes.
And that would be?
Organ replication.
What?
Alton Engineering is concerned mostly with mechanical organs like artificial hearts or
That's
lungs.
what the murder was about.
But lately, Mr. Alton has been trying to find a way to grow organs from living tissue. The process involves taking a tissue sample from the patient and using it to recreate the organ they need replaced. It ensures compatibility, and it allows for replacement of things impossible to substitute with mechanics, for instance, bone marrow. The end goal was to be able to recreate any and all parts of the human body when necessary.
Sounds pretty sketchy.
Well, under certain circumstances it is. Of course, technicalities aside, the ethics of such research. Well, there were the obvious protests, demonstrations, and death threats.
I mean, that sounds like a life-saving technology. Why didn't you mention this before?
I didn't think it was important.
He's dead. You know, are you kidding? He received death threats and now he's dead? You don't see the connection?
But none of them seemed like serious concerns. Besides, Mr. Alton received death threats for lots of his work. I didn't think this would be any different.
Really? Why did people threaten to kill him?
He saved a lot of lives with his work, but people have died because of him too. Once in a while, one of the organs built by Alton Engineering malfunctions and someone dies as a result. It's not a common occurrence by any means, but they are tragic, and Mr. Alton often receives the full hatred of the victim's family. And of course it's very expensive to get a replacement organ. People have gone into debt over them, and that brings about much hatred as well.
It's starting to become more evident why Mr. Orton didn't like living around people. If only people hated me, I'd probably lock myself up too. You think with all the lives he's saved, people wouldn't hate him so much?
It's really not as simple as that. It's possible to do good things with bad intention.
Oh, heck yeah. She looks angry. I thought she was really distraught about Mr. Orton's death, but looking at her now, she definitely seems to be harboring anger towards him.
I'm sorry, I really don't know much more than this. The only thing I know about his work is what I wrote for his press releases. I know he kept copies of all of his research, but I'm afraid I wouldn't know where to look.
Trying to cut Liam out from his will.
He was. Liam's actions were very costly in terms of both money and public image. Mr. Otten wanted to punish him for his cavalier attitude. When Liam took up dogfighting a few months ago, that was the last straw. Last week, Mr. Otten informed Liam that he would no longer be inheriting anything.
How did Liam take that?
He was furious, naturally. He called Mr. Otten a selfish and greedy old man, and he said that he'd make him regret his decision.
So many motives!
Mr. Otten never got around to doing it. A lawyer was scheduled to visit next week. As it stands, all of Mr. Otten's fortune now belongs to Liam.
How convenient for Liam. Killing someone seems like a good way to get revenge, although I don't think Mr. Orton regrets much now that he's dead. Still, it's definitely something to keep in mind.
Of course.
Okay. Move back. There's no one in the restroom. Go see if there's any... Marissa's gone. I wonder where she went. Interesting. Quick look down the staircase. Nope. I guess we'll move into the museum. Examine it closely. I examine the wooden box at the far end of the room. It's the only item in the room that can't be seen from the security cameras. One of the few items not under glass. I suspect that Mr. Orton was hiding something in this box. I run my hands around the side of the box, looking for some sort of latch or door. One of the decorative panels on the box shifts under my fingers, but nothing happens. Hey, Lee May, do you know anything about this? I point to the box, and Lee May approaches it and inspects it carefully.
It's locked.
What do you mean? I don't see a keyhole or anything on it. She shakes her
It is
head.
a puzzle box. You must rearrange the panels on the side to open the doors.
Yeah, I mean, indeed, Dan. Indeed. I guess rich people think they're entitled to things. Privilege and all that. See, how do I do that? She shakes her
I
head
will
again.
do it.
Are you sure?
I want to help.
Okay.
Aki does not let me work because she worries about me. But there's no danger with this. I can be useful again.
I want to give her a hug. She wants to. I don't see why I shouldn't let her. She probably has a better idea of what to do anyway. Wouldn't actually know where to begin. She touches the side panel lightly and slides it back and forth, tilting her ear towards the box as if she's listening for something. After a few seconds, she moves her hands to the other side of the box and repeats the process. She pauses, takes a step back, and looks at the box carefully.
This will take some time. Please return later.
Okay, sure. I'm back out of the room to give her some time to herself. I don't know how much later. Well, someone could be in the restroom now, I
Oh,
suppose.
hello,
There we go.
Kansei. Did you need to...
Marissa points at the stall. No, it's fine. I just wondered what you were doing in here. Marissa frowns and begins to fidget.
Well,
Wait, do I want to know?
it's nothing bad.
She scans the room quickly with her eyes.
I just needed a place where I could be private. You know, someplace where no one's watching. There are cameras all over this place, you know?
So? She shivers.
That's terrifying. Aren't you bothered by the fact that someone you don't know could be watching your every move at any point in time? We give up so much of our private lives into the hands of strangers, and we don't even think twice. Doesn't it bother you?
I guess so. It's probably something that should bother me more, all things considered.
Well, Mr. Otten at least had the decency to leave the restroom as a private area. I wonder how long that will last.
So you came in here because you needed to be alone.
I just needed some time to think without feeling like someone is watching me.
I guess I'll just leave you alone then. Yeah. Okay.
That's cool. We'll talk later.
Aha! Turns out Mr. Autumn was going to cut Liam out from his will.
Well then, that's an interesting turn of events. Do you know why?
Too many run-ins with the law, it seems. The big one apparently was him getting involved in dogfighting. Detective Gursky grimaces.
That would do it. Am I to assume that Mr. Alton never actually got around to making this all-important change in his will?
That would be true. Yeah, Sophia said the lawyer was going to come by next week.
Great.
A lot of people are mad at Mr. Autumn because of his research. Detective Gursky rolls his eyes.
Don't I know it. There have been multiple public demonstrations concerning Autumn Engineering's work.
Do you think it might have something to do with his death?
It's possible, but it's hardly likely. I don't see how any one of his demonstrators could have gotten in here to kill Mr. Autumn. An attempt on his life by one of them is more likely to take the form of a gunman or a bomb. All right then.
Come by if you...
How's it going with the puzzle box? Amy nods at the wooden box. I approach it and gently touch the doors. I hear a soft click. Doors spring open, making a little sound on the smoothly carved hinges. Whoa, good job! My heart sinks as the doors open. Empty. Amy nods and touches my hand. A small smile flickers across her lips.
That is only the first door.
The first door? What are you talking about? She takes my hand and places it in the box, pressing my fingertips against the underside of the top of the box. My fingers trace out the shape of a small hole carved in the wood, next to it a worn series of characters, probably Chinese. There's a keyhole here. Lime nods. What does the writing say?
The key is in the place between mind and body.
There must be some sort of secret compartment hidden in here. Guess we'll have to find it in order to open it.
I have already searched this room, but I cannot find it.
Maybe it's somewhere else in the house. It's in the place between mind and body. I wondered what that could mean. His eyes flip back to the tapestry on the wall. Yeah, tiger and dragon. Oh. That it's not letting me... do anything, okay. Oh, hang on.
Of course.
Forest, cave, ocean, mountain. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how I can trigger a thingy-majiggy.
That's cool. We'll talk.
Ah, here we are. Dragon and a tiger. I run my hands along the orb, nothing. Staunton's trying to keep it a secret, so I put the camera on the ceiling and move around the fountain slowly until I'm hidden from view. Sophia's gonna kill me if she finds me messing with this thing. I run my hand down the orb carefully until I find a seam in the glass. Press it gently and it moves to the side, revealing a thin metal rod twisted into intricate pattern on one end. This is the key. I glance up to make sure the camera isn't watching me before I take the key and slide it into my pocket. The man looks up at me with a smile as soon as I enter.
Excited.
Of course I am. I hold up the key I found hidden in the water fountain. Lee May smiles. She's clearly as pleased as I am. I place the key in her delicate fingers and she inserts it into the keyhole. She moves it back and forth, slowly pressing her ear to the side of the box as she does. I hear a metallic click, followed by the sound of something falling. Finally, she lets out a quiet sigh. She straightens up and nods confidently. You got it? She steps aside to show me the open box. A single SD card lies on the bottom of the box. Ooh, hello. Bleep bloop. Open the puzzle box and find its contents. Yeah, my achievements seem to be somewhat broken. There's no icon. The rare one works, there's a normal icon. And it popped on my computer and my phone before it deigned to appear on there. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, we may look at ourselves with a triumphant smile. I take the SD card from the box and tuck it in my back pocket. We'll have to look at it later. Nice work. May looks pleased with herself. She nods as if to agree that she did, in fact, do a good job. Okay. We should probably go show the detective then. Oh, okay.
All right then.
We can't show the detective, okay.
That's cool. We'll talk later.
I pace back and forth in the hallway slowly, attempting to piece together the puzzle. I feel like I'm close to something, but I can't put my finger on it. My thoughts are interrupted by the sound of sirens. Looks like the police are finally here. All this investigation, and I still haven't figured out who the killer is. Oh well, I guess I should really leave it to the professionals. My part in this case is over. Oh, that was it? Get to the end without figuring out the killer? As soon as we arrive back at the apartment, Aki locks the front door and turns to face Lee May and I.
So, did you find anything?
Yeah, well, but I'm not exactly sure what it is. Pull out the SD card from my back pocket.
Where did you find that?
The museum. Mr. Orton went to lengths to keep this hidden.
Then we'd better have a look at it.
Well, at least we get to know what's on this, but we didn't find out who the killer is! Fine, I'm gonna have to play this again. Myself, probably offline. But it's a good length for a playthrough. I will look at it in a minute and go with, interesting. So we can solve the mystery and catch the culprit. Killer, but there's no proof. Figure out the killer, but they die. Some of the suspects escape. Figure out what's on the SD card. Okay, so we get that. Fail to stop the killer before they kill again. Go to the basement. Ah, right. So that was if we went to the basement and didn't get that vault information. Okay. Don't know. Do you think we should hand this over to Detective Gursky? Tried to do that.
Why would we do that? If it's important, we'll let him know about it eventually. Besides, it's not like the police would have found that anyway, so they're not missing out on anything.
I guess so.
So what are we waiting for? Let's have a look at this.
She pops the SD card into their computer and we wait patiently for the data to load. Flick through the files quickly and we scan the contents of each one as they load. Most of it looks a little more than complicated formulas. And most of it looks like little more than complicated formulas and diagrams to me. Something about breaking down certain types of tissue, it seems.
A lot of this is pretty complicated stuff.
No kidding. It looks like Mr. Otten's been working on some sort of secret project for quite some time.
Suddenly things start to fall into place. His office was private so that no one would see him working. When he was done, he'd hide his progress in the vault of the museum. No one would even guess anything was there. Whatever this project was, it must have meant a lot to him.
Oh hey, a video file!
Double click and the file pops up. Pixelated video fills the screen.
Wow, lousy camera quality.
Lucky frowns and resizes the video, but it doesn't do much to improve the quality. What I can make out, the video appears to be of a young man walking down a bare white hallway.
Where was this taken?
It looks like security camera footage. The angle's very high.
So Mr. Otten was spying on someone? That's creepy.
The video zooms in on the young man's face and an uneasy feeling settles in my stomach. Like he stares at the screen, then back at me.
Khan, this guy in the video? That's you.
God damn it! But we got an achievement for that. Secret knowledge. I like that picture. And we unlocked some things. I have more answers than questions than answers again. Okay, we've got 5 achievements. We didn't catch the killer, and clearly he was involved in whatever. So maybe that's why I can experience the death thing? I mean, is this why my sister died? We were detectives, so maybe she had some sort of other power, deductive something or other. Well, there were a couple of sort of major choices for splitting, like, how your case progresses. And obviously, you know, I didn't die. No one else died. Just one person died, but we didn't figure out, but we found the secret. So I don't know. Anyway, we're going to end the stream slightly early just because, well, you know, we did a full playthrough. But what I'll probably do is, I don't know. But we'll leave it for now. If it comes up on, like, RTTL, we might do another playthrough. See if we can figure out what's going on. My hair looks good. So let's go say hi to Ima, I think. Let's do my S-raid at some point. S-raid thing, I've got a raid thing, but feel free to use any of my raid icons as well. Yeah, so we'll go raid Ima because he's doing his million run, so we'll go and be supportive. I will be back Tuesday with Jessie. We're going to do story time with Joe and Jessie. We have Starlight Shores lined up, which is Penguin Pop Games. So that should be a nice change from killing our brains with puzzles. We'll be back to puzzles at some point, but I think we just both needed a break. Okie dokes. Well, for now, I've been Joe, otherwise known as Angel SK. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll catch you later. Hopefully you enjoyed the story, and you are intrigued as I am, and will then buy the game to find out more, because that's always the thing, isn't it? More people to buy these games. Alright, bye!